Welcome to the extraordinary meeting of Council to be held on the Thursday the 19th of March at 1 p.m. And it's an extraordinary meeting of Council, and the reason for the meeting is to look at amending the standing orders so that councillors can attend meetings by audio-visual means. So I'll call for apologies. I think we're all here, so there's none. Extraordinary business. Is there any extraordinary business? There's none. Declarations of interest? None. Reports. Item number 4. Reports, and it's on page 3, and it's amendment to standing orders, audio-visual attendance at meetings. And we have the author and the GM responsible, Philippa and Hamish, here if there's any questions. And you'll probably know the reason that we are amending the standing orders is because of the COVID-19 virus. If we are not allowed or we are unwell to attend a council meeting, then we can attend by audio-visual means. So, questions? First, Councillor Wilson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I've got a question. Under the circumstances we're facing at the moment, it's an ideal thing to do. But what I don't want it to happen is when we get over this virus, that people use it as an excuse not to come to council meetings. They say, you know, oh, I'm on holiday, or I just don't want to come this time, so I'll go audio-visually. I think we should maintain the protocol that you attend meetings unless it's imperative for a real good reason. Whether we could put a clause in there that says you have to get permission to not attend meetings. Otherwise, it could become a bit farcical if people start to take advantage of it.
Are we amending standing orders forever, or are we amending standing orders for a certain period of time, Hamish?
This recommendation is that they are amended permanently. It was to contemplate that councillors could attend meetings via an audio-visual link on into the future for whatever the circumstance might dictate. Take Councillor Wilson's point. It's really a matter for how council chooses to think about meetings. There are many organisations who, as standard procedure, enable directors to join board meetings via audio-visual links because they don't see there's any detriment to the debate or decision making. If it's not something that suits the council, then I assume, Philippa, we can amend the standing orders to contemplate circumstances where it's not a right or it needs permission or whatever the comfort the council needs. But it's not uncommon for boards to meet in this fashion as a standard practice.
That's correct. The provision is discretionary, and the provision was put in place, I think, in the main because of geographical reasons for a lot of councils where people lived some distance from meetings. The suggestion at the moment is that councils that don't have this provision consider doing it. The difficulty around it is that you need to be physically present to have a quorum, and there's some work being done at the moment, but that could be some time before that legislation can change. And it is at the discretion of the chairman or the mayor to determine whether a councillor can attend electronically. Thank you. Certainly, it's one of the clauses in clause 12.11, I think, at the moment. I may have the wrong one, but there's certainly, you can put whatever rules around it you wish to there, but there's some pretty comprehensive terms around this audio-visual provision.
Councillor McMillan?
Thank you, and I was just going to talk about the quorums as well. So these committees are quorum of 4, which when there's only 6 of us on it, that means that we don't have a lot of leeway. So I'm just wondering, do we leave the quorums as is, or and I'm probably personally thinking if with the virus, if the school's closed, I may not be able to get down to every single meeting, and I could be that one person that mucks up the whole quorum.
just going to comment. So the issue of the quorum is related but slightly separate matter. The amendment to the standing orders is to enable councillors to join in and participate by an audio-visual link. Kind of full stop. The issue of quorum is that at the law of the land, so nothing to do with standing orders, requires a quorum to be judged on those present. So you still need enough attendees in the room by the New Zealand law to have a quorum and therefore for the meeting to hold. So obviously you would need enough people here and some joining in. Then if you turn, and there is work in Wellington right now with the Local Government Association and the Society of Local Government Managers working with DIA to try and have some sort of amended legislation given the circumstances we face, or amended regulation in the circumstances that we face. The issue of a quorum is a number of people present, and we have currently got 50% plus one. There's no question, if the legislation or the regulations were able to change, then you wouldn't be holding anyone up as long as you can dial in. You wouldn't hold a meeting up. But there's no question that until that regulation changes, a slightly smaller quorum will increase the chances of enough people getting to the room in order for the meeting to be valid. So yes, a quorum is slightly related to this issue. Well, it is related to the issue, but it's not directly the context of this report.
If Philip could just add a wee bit to that.
Yes, you could possibly reduce your standing committee quorum to 3 because as you said, your membership's 4, so you'd still have and subcommittees you can reduce to 2.
Councillor Mackay?
I turned off, Mr Mayor, because the Chief Executive had answered the question that I actually had at the time over the quorum bit. I'm with Councillor Wilson. I actually think that this should only be for the emergency time, and that would be determined by whatever the Prime Minister of the country decided was no longer an emergency, in my opinion. I would go ahead and I'd lower the quorum for the committees and the subcommittees so we can make sure that we can actually hold a meeting. Because if this is going to happen, there will be more than just 1 or 2 away at any one time.
So we could address the quorum at a future council meeting if the desire was there to do that.
I think I'm going to go one step further and try and get it solved today, if I'm allowed.
Just informed that there's no need to do it. There's no more committee meetings between now and council, so council would be an appropriate time to do it. But we'll see how we go with your amendment coming shortly. We're still in question time. Councillor Lovett?
Yeah, I would like to see if it's going to continue, rules around it, because and it needs permission, added into this, perhaps from the CEO and the mayor, to do audio visual. Otherwise, a councillor could relocate to another county or anywhere else, and always wanting to relocate even from the business. And I think we're elected as councillors, and we need to be here if we can. And if you're not here, well, you're not part of it. Unless this is just for this emergency.
Okay, Councillor Latham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to comment on Councillor Wilson's first statement. I would be very, very disappointed if the councillors of the Ashburton District Council didn't come because they couldn't be bothered and there was an excuse not to come. I'd be very disappointed, and I think the calibre in the past and the present has been far greater than that.
Councillor Rawlinson.
Thank you. I agree this is a good idea, but I'm a little bit like Councillor Wilson. I think it should only be either in extenuating circumstances or such as the virus, or when dictated.
Councillor Bryan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm really on Councillor Latham's side. I think the way it is standing, we can understand it. We're all councillors we sit here for the right reasons. If someone sits here for the wrong reason, he shouldn't be voted in for a start. So I think the way it has been standing here will work well. If it doesn't work, we shouldn't be here full stop.
Just listening to the discussion and helping people out, if the recommendation that's there, that the council amends the Ashburton District Council standing orders until October 2020 to enable elected members to join meetings by audio or audiovisual means. Would that help? Philip?
Well, it might also help for you to know that at any point in time, as long as there are 75% of you present here and voting, you can amend your standing orders or a standing order. So if the will was there to amend the standing order today to allow for audiovisual, that gets it on the road. And then at any point in time, you can review that. But it certainly comes with conditions around that. And when the full review of the standing orders is done for April, this will be reflected in it, and it might be another opportunity to look at the terms around it.
Do I get support for adding to October 2020 at this stage? If Councillor Brown.
I'm still quite happy after the explanation from Philippa to take it as it stands, to be quite honest, and I'm quite happy to move that motion, or recommendation I should say, as it stands.
Open for debate. Councillor Rawlinson.
I had one more question, is that
Okay,
okay?
take the question.
My question was, should this virus take us to the level where none of us can come into the meetings and we have to run our meetings electronically? I know the quorum issue will come up, but have you thought that far ahead is my question.
At the moment, you couldn't hold a meeting. As I repeat, the regulations require for a quorum to be present in the room. So if no councillors can come to the meeting, it won't matter what your standing orders say about being able to join, you won't be able to hold the meeting because there'll be no quorum. That's why the work in Wellington is going on to try and enable those joining by audiovisual link to be counted for the quorum.
Oh, that's answered it, thank
Yeah.
you. That's answered my question, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Wilson.
Yes, I'll move an amendment that continues on after the present one, that it be revisited in October 2020. My reason is,
I will. I'll second that.
Speak to the motion.
yes, I'll speak to it, because if we follow this recommendation, that's it permanently. And I know we can alter it again, but it's easier to re-look at it in October. It's quite easy to re-look at it in October. We might find that it's worked very well because some of us weren't there, and it would become a permanent feature. So that's my reason.
You have the first recommendation here. You can't come over that.
Councillor Brown, you'll talk.
Oh, sorry.
The amendment?
I'm
Put your light on.
I'm really clear. We've got a recommendation pushed and seconded, and now we go straight over it without voting.
No, we haven't. We've got an
It's an
amendment.
amendment.
We've got an
Okay.
amendment to that recommendation.
If I can speak against it, or if I can speak,
Yes, you can speak
yeah,
against it.
that was the question. Philippa just told us we can change it every time or whenever we want if we think it's recent. And, we have to do it. Why not leave it as it is? We can change it whenever we like.
We'll decide that shortly. Any further speakers? I'll put the amendment. All those in favour of the amendment, do you want the amendment read? Philippa.
Just wondering if I should also mention, what I'm thinking is that you're now locking in a resolution that this will be reviewed in October, and I'm wondering whether that's going to preclude reviewing it sooner if need be. So perhaps the extension to the amendment should be in October 2020 or sooner if required.
Is the mover of the amendment happy, move and second happy with that? Okay. I will put the amendment. All in favour, please say aye. Against? Show of hands. 4. Show of hands 4, the amendment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6? It is 6. The amendment has been passed. The amendment now, show of hands against. Against. You can't vote twice. 1, 4 against. It adds to 10, which is spot on. Yeah. Now the amendment is a substantive motion. Councillor Mackay.
Mr Mayor, I move an amendment to the substantive motion. And the amendment is that the quorum for committees and subcommittees drop by 1 councillor to be present. By 1 in each of the 2.
Until October 2020 when it's reviewed?
I'm amending that motion, yes.
Or
No,
also
hang on, point of order, Mr Mayor. Have I got this right, that the motion is that council amends the Ashburton District Council standing orders to enable elected members to join meetings by audio or visual until October 2020 or sooner?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm amending that motion. I'm moving an amendment to that
Right,
recommendation.
and that is?
It says that the committee and subcommittee quorum drop by 1.
Could I just seek clarification, Mr Mayor? Is that in addition to that, or is the amendment only that? What does the...
Look, there's a problem here. My understanding is that an amendment is additional to a motion. Have I got that wrong? So I'm moving in addition to the motion that's on the table.
A point of order, Mr Chairman. The motion has been passed, amended and passed. Therefore, you have to have a completely new motion. You can't amend a motion once
No.
it's been passed.
The amendment was passed. The amendment now becomes a substantive motion where it hasn't been voted on yet. We've had an amendment to that coming through now. No. We have a new motion on the table, which was the amendment. No, we didn't. We haven't yet.
Can I just explain?
Okay. Philippa.
Could I suggest that if being the substantive motion is put to the amendment and that be dealt with, and then a further motion could be put?
Councillor Mackay, are you happy with that? We put this amended motion
No,
and
I'm
then
not,
you
but
bring
I'll change mine to a notice of motion.
Okay. So we're sticking with the amended... Yeah, I'm putting the substantive motion. Councillor Flynn.
Yeah, I'm speaking in favour of the original motion, and I don't have a problem with the amended motion. I just can't understand where you guys have been for the last 10 years and not having audio, video presence at a meeting. I've worked with it for 15 years and it works wonderfully.
I'm putting the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Carried. Against? 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 Show of hands. For the amendment? For the substantive motion. All in favour, please. Raise your right hand or left hand, whichever hand you've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Against? 2. Passed. Now there's another motion coming, is there, Councillor Mackay, regarding the quorum.
Okay, I haven't got it written down, but I'll try and keep it simple.
Philippa may have it for you.
That count, yeah, there you go, because she explained it so well that I want that in.
That the
Before.
quorum for council's standing committees and subcommittees reduce in membership by 1 member.
I'll move that.
You can't reduce the quorum of council below 5. It's 5. We've got an even number of 10 members and 5, half being the quorum.
Sorry, I was just taking your, if I may, Mr Mayor. I was only looking at the committees and the subcommittees so they could operate.
Right.
It was not council, just subcommittees. And I'm listened very closely to what Philippa said and took on her advice, and that was what I wanted to bring in. originally,
Yep.
and I'm happy to move that as a separate motion.
Can we have a seconder? Councillor Cameron, it's open for discussion. Councillor Rawlinson.
Question, will that, is the purpose of that, councillor Mackay, to be in the same time frame as the other motion we've just passed? No, but I'm asking if that's his intent.
Yes, but I can't touch the wording of the original motion because I've got to wait 6 months.
I think that, sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor, I think the clarification being sought is the change to a quorum only until October 2020?
In my mind, but I cannot mention that in my motion because
Yes, you can.
the motion has just been moved,
No,
and I can't alter that.
You can, you're the mover of the motion. If your intention, and Philippa was assisting you to describe it, so you're the mover of the motion. If your intent is that the quorums be altered as you suggest until
that-
October, then that would be the motion.
That is the intent.
Yes.
But she never said the words October 2020.
No.
so
We
that's
will,
why I
we will
just-
been
add, we will add
clarified.
them in.
Yes.
We'll add them in if it helps. Yep.
And I will,
Councillor Lovett?
I will second that.
Sorry, it's already been seconded, and with the movers and seconders agreement, it will read that the quorum for council's standing committees and subcommittees reduce in membership by 1 member until October 2020 or sooner if required.
Okay, mover and the second, happy with that? Okay, any further discussion? I'll put the motion, all, I'm in favour, all in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. With that being the only item of business on the table today, I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you for attendance, and we've got the Audit Risk Finance meeting at 1:30, 10 minutes' time or less.